Welcome, everybody. We are live. How's everybody doing? Just waiting for people to jump on. It is Friday night, question and answer for the Duolingo English test. I mean, where else would you rather be, right? Well, how you doing, everybody? It's Friday night, question and answer for the Duolingo English test. Where would you rather be, right? So we'll be doing this every Friday night around this time. It is about 9 o'clock. About 9 o'clock in Korea Standard Time. My name's Lance. I am running DET Study, and I figured it'd be a good idea just to come on board and jump on and answer any questions that you may have about the Duolingo English test. I'm going to speak slowly because I think as people jump on board, you have people at different language levels. So I want to make sure that I speak slowly and answer any questions that you may have. Hello, Mohammed. How are you? Nice to have you on board. Any questions you have about the test, about specific questions? I know that I'm the one speaking, so it's easy for me to go quickly, and you're the one that has to type it out, so it's a little more difficult for you. But any questions that you have, I'm happy to answer and help you through it. Okie dokes. Can you hear me okay? Is that'd be the first question? Can you hear me okay? Mohammed, where are you checking in from? Just so you know a little bit about DET study, we've been teaching the Duolingo in classrooms here for about 4 years. So we've Somalia. Wow, Somalia, great. Someday I want to go there. So we've been teaching classrooms, and so we see students. We help them from the beginning all the way through the process of taking the test. Sometimes it takes them a couple of times to pass the test. Sometimes they do it on their first try. So there's a lot of different challenges that people have. If you've checked out the YouTube channel, um, maybe you've been able to see some of the videos that we put up. There's a lot of good content online. There's a lot of good lessons. It's really an amazing time where you can just go onto YouTube, find what you're looking for, get your questions answered, and kind of move on. It's an amazing time where education is available at our fingertips, and it's almost making universities and sitting in classrooms not as relevant as it used to be. So, so yeah. Any specific questions that people have as they jump on board? Any questions, uh, uh, Mohammed Omar? Anything that you have in specific to the test? How can I improve English? How can you improve English? Well, the test itself, are you actually uh, planning to take the test, or have you taken it already? I would say the first step, you know, to improving English is, English is it's a very complex language, right? So I would say if you have time every day, start with picking up a book that's written in English. Maybe just read one page every day or half a page, something like that. Because what happens when you start reading is it starts to affect your thoughts and it starts to affect your language. And when you read, you build vocabulary as well. You start to learn new words from reading. And reading in a book is it's uh, it's a story, right? You learn a lot from reading, and then we remember stories very well as learners. So we learn by reading, we build our vocabulary, and then you start writing. So a lot of people think, well, I'm just going to speak. I'm just going to go and try and speak English. But it really doesn't work that way. It doesn't work so easily because we don't know where to start. So reading is connected to our writing. And so when we write well, what happens? So when we read well, we write better. And when we write better, we think better. And when we think better, we speak better. So it kind of starts back at that stage where if we're reading something, we get ideas and vocabulary. Now I can communicate that through writing, and then I can slowly begin to change thinking, and I can slowly begin to um, have a conversation a little bit more confidently. So I would say if you're going to start the process, maybe start with reading. Um, Anyone that's joined in, my name's Lance with DET Study. It's Friday night question and answer on the Duolingo English Test. That's what that's what you wanted to do. Well, it's Friday night here in South Korea. I am from the USA. I'm from the East Coast, and I've been in Korea for a number of years teaching the Duolingo English Test. Anybody that has questions, hello, Evie. Evie says hi. Where's Evie writing in from? Is that is that in another country? Are you in America, Asia? Where are you from? Um, yeah. So, any questions? Any specific questions about the Duolingo English test? Just core, core. I think you said Korea. Korea. Okay, good. Nice place. I'm very familiar with Korea. I know it well. Um, so the Duolingo English test, for those of you that don't know or maybe are just getting started, it's an it's a language proficiency test that's accepted in over 5,500 universities worldwide. So that's big, and and they've only been around for about 3.5 years, and they're stepping up in the market. Right, TOEFL has been around forever, and the IELTS have been around forever, but people are wanting to move on from that, and they're wanting to get it done quickly. You know, testing is moving more rapidly. People want their scores quicker. They don't want to sit around and wait for 2 weeks. And the Duolingo English test, you can get your score in just a couple of days, pay just under 60 US dollars, and you have your score quickly. So that's really been important. And that's why I think they've found a great place in the market and have been able to kind of rapidly grow. I think in the United States, there are 2,500 universities that accept the Duolingo English test. So if you're planning to go to any of these school in the United States, I can help you with that. You know, one of the things that we do that we've been doing for the last few years, we've helped students uh, take the test, prepare to go to a university in the States, and we've gotten them scholarships. We've gotten them scholarships. So that's a really big part of how academics works in America. America loves international students. They really do. And there's so much money available. If you're a good student and if you have a good GPA, there are many schools in America that want you to come. They want you to be there and they have money for you because there's private donors that are giving money away to good students. They want you to come because you represent a really good part of your country, and they want you to be a part of the university because you'll represent yourself well. And I know in Korea, for example, a lot of the students in Korea they're very good when they go overseas and they study in America, in Canada. I'm not quite sure how it works in Europe, but for example, we have universities in America that are offering $10,000 US in scholarship. $10,000. So That's a good amount of money to get. I just heard today that there's a university, a medical school in New York City, Albert Einstein School of Medicine in the Bronx, New York. Their 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 tuition was over $60,000, and now it's free. It costs no money. It's completely free because they got $1 billion in donations, and they're offering a free tuition. Of course, it's a medical school, so you have to qualify for that. But can you imagine $60,000 tuition? Now it's free. So you still have to take the MCATs, and I believe they offer a school of nursing as well. But what an amazing thing to know that there are really good people in the world that offer, that are giving their money to help people like you guys study. So that's really important. Sometime I need practice now, possible with you. Yeah, Mohammed, you can study with me. I'm offering one-on-one classes as well as I'm building my channel and building my audience and all of that. I am happy to help you with some lessons. I'm happy to do that for you. And you can see if you click down in the link there in the description, you'll see my how to get in touch with me. You'll see my email there and all of the social media stuff. Um, Shoot me a message, and then we can do a Google Meet. I'm happy to do that as I'm building the channel because my mission here when I started this is to help people kind of get started on their way. It's not that. Can you have a private lesson? EV, a private lesson for you? Yes, of course you can. My mission was always to help people, and I hope that comes across clear. Um, is to kind of help people pass. Most universities in America only require a score of about 95, some even lower, 90 to a 95 uh, score to get into a university. Now, that's balanced between your listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Okay, so there's four components, right? Comprehension, conversation, so the four components of the Duolingo English test. Now, one thing to keep in mind that a lot of people um, get confused about in the scoring is that it's not a math equation on the score. A lot of people get frustrated because they might score really high in one area and then a little bit lower in the other areas. And what happens is that it might be 100, 100, 180. So they're thinking they're dividing 380 divided by 4, whatever that is. What is that? I can't, I'm not a math guy, but whatever that is, it's not that. That's not your score. Your score is most affected on the Duolingo English test by the lowest of the four scores. So if you're great at writing or you're great at comprehension, but your production, let's say your production scores are lower, that lowest score is going to carry the most weight in affecting your overall score. So you might be very good at something and you might be way up here at 130, but your lower score might be down here. Your overall score is more affected by your lower score than your higher score. I hope that makes sense. And there are a lot of universities that have minimums for production scores. So that means if you are if you need to work on your production, speaking and writing, right? The speaking and writing, where you have to produce language. If you are lower in those areas, then what I'm saying is, yeah, if you're lower in those areas, your university might require a minimum score. They might say, overall score of 100, but your production score has to be 90, something like that. So that's something to think about when you're taking the test and or preparing for the test. Remember that you can take as many practice tests as you want on the website, on the official Duolingo English Test website. You can take until it puts you to sleep. There's and don't worry because you might think, well, if I take the practice test, I'm just going to get the same questions over and over. And it's not really true because there's a massive and a very, very large pool of questions. So you're never going to run out. They're never going to run out of questions. So that's one way you can do it. You can take the test on the practice test, or you can go to detstudy.com, which well, actually it isn't open yet. So the website's going to be open. My website will be open in just a couple more weeks. So we'll get that launched, and people will be able to go there and practice their questions, whether it's writing, speaking, listening, reading. Okay. So and the nice thing about the website is that imagine that you're really good at some sections. You might really be good at the read and complete question or the fill in the blanks, and you're great at that. And um, you might need to improve on other sections. So you can go to any question that you want and work on that to improve. Okay. Who's still with me? I've got one amazing listener who's still with me. That's either Mohammed from Somalia or is it Yv? Yv, did I say? Evie from, that's Evie from Korea. Looks like I have a fan there. That's great. Evie, are you planning to take the test? Is that why you're here? And you can hit the thumbs up button. That would be great. Sure. She's okay. Is there any specific area that you need help with? Any question? Is it speaking, writing, listening, reading? What do you think your strength is? And it's great. This is like a one on one class for you. So lucky for you, right? So that's good. You're from Korea, so we're in the same time zone. So it's 9:15 at night. I mean, this is how we want to spend Friday night, right? So while Evie's thinking a little bit more about the Duolingo English Test, like I said, it's been around for 3 years, and it is an AI scored. So there are three parts to the Duolingo English Test. There's the adaptive section, and so what that is the question will adjust to your um, level. That means if you're doing really well, the test is going to get more difficult. It's going to adjust and it's going to adapt up. And you want to increase your language. Muhammad wants to increase his language. So it adapts to your level. And it gets more difficult and it adjusts down if you're having a little bit of a challenge during the test. Um, Mohammed, what area do you think you need to increase? Is it the reading, the writing, the listening? What section, or are you just talking about English language in general? And are you preparing for the test? That's a good question. Or are you preparing to study overseas? What's the dream, Mohammed? Anybody that's just jumping in now, my name's Lance from DET Study. We have a website. We have a website that'll be online very soon. Sorry for those of you that have tried. And I need to increase my volume. Okay, the microphone. Is that what you're saying, Evie? Thank you. It's a compressor microphone, so we'll do that. It's too quiet, says Evie. Okay, I don't want to yell, but okay. All right, we'll do that. Thank you for the feedback, Evie from Korea. Um, I'll talk like this. How's that? Is that better? Tell me if that's better. Okay. Um, so I was saying there are there are sections of the test that are adaptive that adjust to your level. Okay, that means the better you get, the the harder it gets. You wrote reading, writing, listening, and speaking, says Mohammed. Where do we begin? Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. So how about this, Mohammed? Are you have you taken the test? Are you preparing to study overseas? Is that why you need to take the test? Or maybe you don't need to take the test. You just wanted to come and listen to me speak about the Duolingo English test. I mean, thank you, Evie. Thank you. It's better. Okay, it's better. So while you're thinking, I'll tell you that there's also a section of the test that's AI scored. Okay, so it's scored by natural language processing and computer adaptive technology. So while, sorry, that was the adaptive section, but the NLP part is AI scored. So it evaluates your voice, right? So my voice isn't loud enough tonight because my compressor microphone doesn't want to behave properly. So when you're speaking, it evaluates your vocal features. And when you're speaking, it evaluates your grammar and your structure and your complexity, like lexis. So are you using words that are sophisticated and on a little bit higher level, higher academic level? Like, that's important. So the AI scoring system is very complex, but also it's very personal. Like, you can really figure out the nuances of your voice and your structure and your lexis. And it and my goal with DET is to help people writing, Muhammad. I saw that. Okay, good. Writing is to help people kind of write at a little bit more sophisticated level. The feedback that I've gotten from a lot of people that are taking the test is that the AI scoring system is so picky, especially with production. So if you're taking the test and you found out that your comprehension level and your conversation level is well, but your production levels are lower, it's because the AI system, as I've heard from others, the feedback from production is it's very, very picky. Should I be academic? Should I really speak in these high level words? Or should I just sound like myself, like I'm talking to a friend? I think the best way to answer that is to say that it's really a combination of both. It should be a combination of you being able to speak in your in smoothly in English as naturally as possible, and using words and uh, vocabulary that's a little bit more advanced. Look up the academic word list. The academic word list, AWL, Mohammed. What that is, it's a list of, I think, 540 words that was put together in the early 2000s by, um, I think it was a woman in New Zealand. And basically what it is, it's a list of words that this consortium agreed on that should be part of what students learn in universities. So when you're studying your social sciences, your arts, your STEM classes, right? Science, technology, engineering, math, you should know these types of words. So I have a video in my series called Power Words and Context. You can check those out. Those go into the there's 50 words in one. I think I have 300 words altogether. Good morning. Good morning. Is that Tatiana? Good morning. Good evening from Korea. Good morning to you. Welcome to the live question and answer on Duolingo English test. Yeah, so these academic words will help you at least work them into your writing, right? When we're writing for the test, it can't just be um, casual writing. It has to be academic. And I'll explain that in this way. Hopefully this can make sense. The TOEFL is a really tough test, isn't it? I don't know if any of you have taken the TOEFL test. It's difficult. It's a 4-hour test, and it's very challenging. The IELTS is tough too. Now, the TOEFL test has long, long sections of reading. You have to read an entire paragraph, and then you have to answer questions, and it involves an immense vocabulary, uh, something that, words that you may not even know, and then um, you have to answer questions. So when people take the TOEFL, they run away from it. They're like, I don't want to take that test anymore because it's too difficult. There's too many words. It's too much reading and listening to. You have to listen to uh, is Duolingo easier than the TOEFL? I'll get to that, Evie. So I'll answer that question right now. When you take the TOEFL, you might think, "Oh, this is way too hard. I can't do this because um, there's too much vocabulary." And the Duolingo, when you look at it at first, you might think, "Wow, this is really interesting." It's kind of simple. There's easy screens. I just click the next button. I fill in some blanks. You might think that it's an easier test, but it actually isn't. It's equally as difficult as the TOEFL. It just moves faster, and you're not reading long academic passages. You're actually required to produce them in your writing. So you have to think about, what should I say here in this specific space? All right, I'll stop talking for a bit and I'll let you guys. Tatiana, if you're still, is that what you? Is that what? Let me see what it says there. Tatiana, Tatiana, where are you writing in from? Thank you. It's so helpful for everyone. You're welcome. I'm happy to help out. Um, I know that Evie is from Korea, and Mohammed, if he's still here, is from Somalia. Tatiana's from Ecuador. Ecuador. Wow. That would be the Andes. Am I right with the mountain range? Ecuador? I need your link 101. Okay, I don't know what you mean by that link. You mean for the, are you asking for the YouTube channel or are you asking for class? Ecuador. Tatiana, are you preparing to study overseas or are you taking the test and having some questions or frustrations? And I'll try to speak slowly so that you guys can understand me okay. You need my link 101. I don't know what a link 101 is. It sounds like a university class. I'm happy to help you, Mohammed, uh, with what you need. Just if and for any questions as we start to build, we just got a few people on live today, but as we start to grow the channel and we get a few more people involved and followers and subscribers and all that stuff, um, what I will do is for any questions that are unanswered, I will put together a small video answering those questions. And if they come in tonight, we're at a slow pace, or if it's morning, I'm guessing in Ecuador, it's probably 6:30 or 7:30 in the morning. You need one-on-one, Mohammed. I got you. Okay. Okay. Uh, check the details, the description, Mohammed. Send me a message, and what I'll do is we'll get together on Google Meet, and I'll help you that way. Okay. So what I'm doing in the beginning, for those of you that have just jumped in, my name's Lance with DET Study, and we run a YouTube channel, and we're going to be doing live classes. So we'll do question and answer like this for specific questions, and I'm going to be doing live classes on here where it's going to be, it's not going to be in the mobile way, but it'll be more for desktop. But it'll be specific classes on writing techniques and speaking techniques. 725, I nailed it. I got that. That was good. I'm pretty good at that. I'm from the States, so I'm from Maine in the USA, so I know the East Coast times, and I have kids in Las Vegas area, so I think it's probably morning for them as well, very early morning. So like I said, I'll be doing live classes as well, and hopefully that'll be something that'll help you guys out as well. Okay. Yeah, Mohammed, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm happy to help out. Like I said, happy in the beginning to do some free one-on-one classes. I've already done them for a bunch of students, and that was good for them. We did Google Live, and got them some good forms and templates and some things that help them. I would say that the most important thing to think about right now, if you are a beginner with the Duolingo English test, is make sure you know the rules of the test. Okay. The rules of the test are really important. So many people deal with frustrations of having their test scores canceled because they had another monitor plugged into the phone, or they were wearing earphones, or their hair. See, I don't have hair. I don't have the luxury of long hair, but some people do, right? Some women have long hair, and it was covering their ears. And if your hair covers your ears, your scores will get canceled. So that's something to think about. Devices. Sorry, I had to switch devices. Oh, it's okay. So don't have your hair cover your ears. Thank you. Thank you, Evie. I still look good. Still look good from 30 minutes ago when I started. Um, Make sure that because they might think you have headphones on, right? And another thing, if you're practicing for the test, do it in front of a computer. Okay. Now, you don't want to practice the test sipping a cup of tea, leaning back on your big comfortable chair or sofa, because that doesn't replicate an actual test situation. Because it is a computer test, you want to practice in front of your computer almost robotically. Like um, if you're practicing, you want to be sitting upright and looking into the camera of your computer. Because here's something that happens on the test is that the font on the test is not very big during the test. I think it's a 10-point font. So sometimes what happens is that we might have a temptation to kind of go like this. We don't know what it says, or the pictures are not very big. The photos are not very big. So what happens when you see a small photo? Well, on our phone, we just go whoop and we make it bigger, but we can't do that on a computer. So we normally would put our head closer to the screen. But if your head leaves the screen, what happens? Anybody know? Take a guess. What happens if my face does this during the test? Anybody know? You get 12 guesses each. My teacher, the here's depending age. The, the I don't know what my teacher, no, Evie, you don't fail. You just the scores get canceled. So they get canceled because the idea is they're super super careful about people cheating. So they don't want people to cheat, and they're imagining that you're going over here and you're looking at a phone or you're looking at another device, so it's canceled, and you have a chance to take it again. Um, yeah. So practice in front of a computer. Almost have to do it robotically. Sit in front of a mirror. Sit with a friend and look eye to eye with a friend and try to practice speaking, looking at them and not breaking eye contact. That's almost how you have to. Now, for the writing parts, you can look down because if you're not a great typist like me, I didn't grow up typing. So all of you younger people, believe it or not, are much better typists than I, because I didn't have a typewriter until I was 15, and this is a long time ago. Okay. Which means most people, and if you're not a great typist, you're looking down. Most people look down when they type, and that's okay. And the test will tell you it's okay to look down when you type. But for the speaking part, you have to look into the camera. And here's another temptation. Try not to do this when you're speaking. Anybody know why you shouldn't do this? Why shouldn't you be looking around when you're speaking? See, it's our temptation to think, you might get a question that asks about your life. And as you're thinking about the question, we look around and we think, well, my hobby, if I think about it, we start doing this with our eyes. What happens if our eyes start scrolling around the room? Does anybody know? Cancel the score. And the reason is that they think that we're looking at another device if you have a monitor up here or something like that. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. Right. It's like cheating. They think you're cheating. Exactly. Evie, you got all the points tonight. You're getting all the points. All right, folks. Well, I just wanted to say thanks for jumping into the question and answer. You, like I said, jump onto the YouTube channel. If anybody has any other quick questions right now before we jump off, go ahead and put it there, and I'm happy to answer it. And to let you know that we will be doing, or I will be doing, I'm happy to do some one-on-one classes with those that need. It's not going to be a 2-hour class, but I'm happy to do a 30-minute class. So I'm really, that'll be good. And I think you'll find that that'll help a lot because I'll give you some real good tips on what you need to boost your vocabulary. It'll be some stuff that you have not heard before. You need, yes, I'm happy to help you. And next time, increase the volume, the sound volume. Okay, and then there's some lines there that I don't know what those are. Okay. Yes. Tatiana, shoot me a message, and I'm happy to help you out one-on-one. That's no problem. Evie, happy to help you out. You said you need some help. And Mohammed, every day starting live this time. Every day. Every day. Well, I will say this. We'll be doing question and answers once or twice a week, and I will be doing live classes. Okay? I will be doing live classes for free. Okay? So that'll be good for hopefully to help you out. Okay? Guys, thank you so much for jumping in on my official first live stream. 37 minutes and counting. For my 3 loyal fans, I thank you for jumping in. And like I said, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in, and like and subscribe and all that stuff. Jump onto the DET Study YouTube channel. I think you'll like it. There's going to be some stuff there that might be a little bit different, and I've taught the stuff for a long time, so I promise you'll get something a little bit different from me. Hopefully you like it, and I think we'll have a good time connecting. Thanks, everybody, and have a good night. See you later. Now I got to figure out how to end this. How do we end this? X. Okay.